Go. Okay, we're live. We're live. Facebook Live. Thanks for joining us for another Sylvia Findings live stream from sunny British Columbia. Just kidding. It's been raining for days. We love it. Love the rain. This is why I moved to BC, for the rain. Nobody moves here for the sun because there are only like 9 days of sun here. I'm just kidding. But the one thing I do notice about living in British Columbia, and it was true also, I was lived in Seattle, something about the Pacific Northwest. There's a lot of rain, there's a lot of gray, there's a lot of overcast, but the days when the sun comes out are glorious. You just really appreciate the sun a lot more. And the temperate winters are awesome, although this winter may be a little worse than most, not least because of the weather, but because of the pandemic, which is reaching another high, ravaging the world still again. But we're not here for dreary news about the world. We're here for stuff that is fun and exciting and um, creative. Get those juices flowing. We're going to do another online catalog of the trays of our pendant. We're still on pendants. We do all of our when we do shows, we bring around these trays, right, of all the pendants. I mean, if you've ever seen us at a show, you've seen them. And the trays are all numbered so that when somebody orders something, we could just look up which tray it's in and we could find it very easily. So we're just going through. Right now, we've got about 44 trays total, 46, 40, something like that. Trays of total pendants. And today we're tray 20, so we're in the second half of the thing by the end of the day. Tray 20, we'll do tray 20 through 22, because I can do math in my head. Today is December 9th, 2020, so again, thanks for joining in. I know I'm not supposed to give date-specific or contemporary specific topics, because if you're watching this a year in the future, you'd be like, what the hell is he talking about? Pandemic? I don't remember that. Hopefully it'll all be a distant memory by next year. We'll be here again next week. We'll do another one next week, the 16th, but not on the 23rd or the 30th. Those 2 weeks will be closed here. We'll be filling orders. I'll be here, but I'm not answering the phone if you call during those days. But we will be fulfilling orders, so don't worry. If you place an order online or stuff, we'll still be here to do that. Speaking of orders, if you share this live stream right now on Facebook with your friends or whatever, we'll send you a free polishing cloth. As always, orders that are placed today during the live stream get 5% off the regular price, the regular retail price, and free regular shipping. That's the we put a stamp on the package, kind of shipping, not courier shipping or through chit chats or any of those kind of things. On that topic, or a nice little segue from that topic, as far as shipping goes now, we're at the 9th. We're getting close to that period where if you order, you won't be getting it for Christmas. You'll still get it, depending where you are. Obviously, if you're in North America and you order today, this week, chances are good you'll still probably get it before Christmas. If we're shipping into the United States, you'll get it before Christmas. U.S. Postal Service is still kicking. They're still doing well. They're still, I think, at the most, there's been like a day or 2 day delay in shipments arriving from the time that they said they would. Canada Post is a different story. They're kind of overwhelmed right now. They have a lot of people out, I guess, and they are always trying to hire new people, but then you got to train them. It takes longer. And when stuff begins to backlog, like it really gets backlogged. And like I said last week, there's anecdotal evidence that once, if you get caught where um, your package or your thing was thrown into the bottom of the bin when they were filling them up, if there's a backlog, they start emptying those bins and start putting more stuff in the bins, and the stuff down at the bottom of the bin may not come out until they really get back to their thing. So delays happen. I think by the end of the week we're going to reach a point where you're definitely not going to get it for Christmas if you order it regular shipping. Canada Post shipping. So, courier service is always there. We ship stuff all the time via DHL. They're a really awesome service. If it's shipping to another country, you will pay an entry fee for them to fill out the customs forms and everything. Um, Unless your order is more than, and I can never remember this, $700 or $800, whatever. If it's something like that, if it's more than $800 US or 700, whatever it is, you'll have to pay duties and taxes on top of that. But if it's under that, there's no duties or taxes into the States anyway because of the North American Free Trade Agreement. If you're shipping into Europe, if you don't order it custom or premium freight, DHL or something, it's not going to happen. You're not getting it for Christmas. You're not even going to get it for New Year's. just so you know, it's that bad right now. It's like 75 days, I think, the regular post is what they're saying. So there it is. We did have one question that I wanted to talk about before we get into the trays, and it kind of segues into the trays or out of the trays. I'm going to be showing you a lot of things today, a lot of very cool pendants. The first tray is going to have a lot of bezel, which I'll explain what that is. Bezel set pendants, mostly for gabs and stuff. And if you see anything you like, the question was what's entailed with custom made product. People have stones that they collect or they buy on online shopping channels or even HGTV. They have a gem show, where it kind of blew me away the first time I saw it. I tuned in and they're selling like spicolite or whatever it was, just some weird random stones that they had on the screen. And I thought, wow, this is a very niche channel. Not a lot of people who are just buying rare gemstones. Here's hi Jason. Would love to watch and order, but it's during my work time. Will you do a weekend show sometime next year for those that work in different time zones? No. But tell you what, you can, prepare an order as you're doing, and you're probably not watching anyway right now. Oh, you must be watching. Then how can you type in the chat if you're not watching? But you can prepare an order and then just have it ready and then just click send when you know that we're going to be on. I guess that's the best way to do it. Or put a delay on your email setting to email this at 10:35 a.m. Pacific time. Yeah, so that's it. But just getting back to the custom things. Somebody that was asking what's involved with custom, or how does that work? What is it? And really, there's no set way that it works. It could be whatever you want. That's the whole point of custom, right? You have a stone that you bought at one of these trade shows or on online, whatever, and you get it in and you check your caliper and it's X by Y, and you really like one particular setting that we have, but it doesn't fit the stone that you have. We can recreate it. I mean, we have to start from scratch because the files that we have or the molds that we have, if we have a mold for it still, will be for that size. So we would have to recreate from scratch the whole thing. So it's like making something, brand new. We can also start with just a concept or your logo or, we've done so many custom things at this point. It's there's no real limit to, well, I guess size limit. The piece ultimately would have to fit inside the, flask, casting flask. Unless it was a really involved thing, and then we could cast multiple parts and solder them together. But then you're talking about lots of labor and stuff. But regardless of how you do it, custom is going to be cheaper than going to a jewelry store and saying, "Hi, I've got these gems. Make me a ring to go with it," or make me a pendant, to fit in it. Just because of the way that jewelers do it. So I don't want to get in trouble with jewelers and saying that they charge too much, but they charge too much. Yeah, that's not really true either. They charge what the work is worth, right? And you can work slowly by building a pendant or a thing or a custom item in a piece of wax, carving a piece of wax. But if you're terrible at carving like I am, you need to have another way to do it. And the way we do it, we have 3D CAD, computer designers who can design the pieces in a CAD program, and then you will email you a digital, image, mock-up of the thing that you can look at and say, yes, this is good, or no, make these changes, whatever. And then once we do it, then we'll print the 3D resin version of that, and then cast that directly. So it's like we can do one-offs, so one of a kind, things. And the price, because we have the concept and the workflow so streamlined. It's insane. I keep trying to tell Marble that we should charge more. But right now, because he's not listening to me, right now the price is only $65 Canadian dollars. So in US, that's like what, $10? Something is like, I'm exaggerating, obviously. $65 for items up to 5 grams, which, most of the pendants that I'm going to show you today are under 5 grams. So just, for example, just so you know. That includes everything, the 3D design, the casting, the rhodium plating, you name it, it's all there. And it doesn't also have to be only sterling silver. We do, for custom work, obviously all the production stuff that we do is just in sterling silver. And we do have some gold bales and findings and stuff. But for custom, we can do anything. We do a lot of 14 karat gold, a lot of 9 karat gold, which people like the look of gold, but 9 karat is obviously much lower carat weight. So, price wise, it's a lot more economical, right? We can do 18 karat, we can do whatever you want. Rose gold, white gold. Somebody ordered white gold. And I know I always get into this conversation. It's like, why are you ordering white gold? The silver looks the same. I realize it's not exactly. There's a feel, there's a warmth to white gold that supposedly you can't get out of sterling. And think, okay, whatever works. And I guess there's a cachet, right? White gold is stuff. Also, I'm also a little bit iffy about rose gold. I always think, depending on how the alloy is mixed, it looks a little copperish to me. I think, why don't you just make it with copper? Copper is beautiful. I love working with copper. It's gorgeous. Anyway, I guess that is it for the preamble. Oh, I don't have anything else I wanted to say. I think we're good. Okay, so we're gonna move right on to this first one. Let me move this a little bit closer. MTP 1031 for a 12 by 16 millimeter cabochon. This is what I was talking about. A lot of this tray is going to have bezel walls, right, where it's just a flat wall, right? And ostensibly, I think I have a stone that kind of fits here. Almost, it's not quite, but ostensibly, if you push that wall in against the stone, if it's a low enough dome, using a bezel pusher, which is actually what it's called. It's a bezel pusher, to push the bezel in there. You can set the stone in there without using glue. Some of these bezels are pretty thick though, so it might be difficult to do it without blemishing the bezel, unless you're really good at it, which I am, but a lot of people aren't. So I would probably recommend using a good two-part epoxy on this thing, right? Put a little, bit around the outside edges and put your stone in there. These settings, with the bezel walls, the stone, pretty much has to be close to exactly, the size of the thing. Like this one is just So 12 by 16. So this one is probably, this stone is probably like a 12 by 16.4 millimeters or something, and that even that half millimeter makes it not sit in there, sort of thing. But if you were a lapidary, you could very easily shave off just a little bit off the bottom of that and make that fit in there. Anyway, so that's how these work. This one has a lovely filigree style bail. I don't know if you can see that, and it's pretty deep cage, so golly, anything would work in there. That's kind of cool. A basket, and that one is the retail price is $32.18, and the wholesale price is $19.31. The next one is kind of a nice, very simple, very delicate, very plain. It's got that kind of rope, border around the outside of the bezel wall. Nice open back, right? So it's relatively light for the size of the pendant that it would be. MTP 1048 for an 18 by 28 millimeter stone. The retail price is $29.21, and the wholesale price is $17.52. Our next item is another bezel walled pendant. MTP 1029 for a 10 by 14 millimeter stone. Retail price is $21.35, and the wholesale price is $12.81. And it's just got a lovely kind of a, I don't know, crown decorated border. That very cool. Oops, I lost a stone. Here's one, MTP 1040 for an 18 by 26 millimeter cabochon. You'd have to put cabs in these. Retail price is $29.25, and the wholesale price is $17.56. And this is just lovely. And I don't really have a stone that fits in this one, I don't think. But just to give you an idea what that looks like when the stone is in there, I don't know. Kind of hard to see, but this I would definitely push the bezel wall down over onto the stone, because the just that wave, I don't know, it's a wave floral look. Very simple to push over onto the stone without blemishing the bezel, and it would just look so cool too. Again, you'd probably need a pretty low dome cab to be able to just use a bezel. Otherwise, just use glue. Again, two-part epoxy. Whenever I say glue, just substitute that with a good two-part epoxy. Here's another gorgeous scrolly things around the outside. Gives it that sort of is it a sun? Is it flowers? I don't know. It's just kind of cool look. MTP 1030 for a 12 by 14 millimeter cabochon. Retail price $27.01, and the wholesale price $16.21. Another cab one here, MTP 1034 for a 13 by 18 millimeter cab. Retail price $34.46, wholesale price $20.67. And this is that same lovely filigree kind of bail. It's got that nice open scroll work on the the front. Just really interesting piece, right? Here's another gorgeous, frame thing. And these kind of pendants are more like, look at my stone, and it's got a cool frame around it, instead of look at the pendant I have. I don't know if that makes a difference. It's got that filigree bail, and that's like true filigree. That's not like pretend filigree or filigree-ish. MTP 1049 for a 25 by 34 millimeter pair. Retail price $44.81, and the wholesale price is $26.88. And again, these pendants are better if you have access to a lapidary, because if the stone isn't within a half millimeter or so, you're going to have trouble making them fit. This one, MTP 1046 for a 30 by 40 cabochon. Retail price is $58.36, and the wholesale price is $35.01. And it's got that same filigree bail. God, I love that bail. It's very cool. And this, I think this bound rope sort of border, very cool. There's another lovely kind of kind of scroll work around the outside. I guess not really scroll work. What is that? Pleated. MTP 1039 for a 16 by 22 millimeter cab. Retail price is $30.94, and the wholesale price is $18.56. Here one. This is a prong setting. MTP 1036 for a 16 by 21 millimeter cabochon. Maybe a cut stone would fit in there too. Retail price $28.67, and the wholesale price is $17.20. It's got that lovely, I don't know, bamboo kind of looking stuff. I think, does this stone fit in there? Yeah, there's one with the stone in it. It's not a very pretty stone, but you get the idea. How that bamboo forms like a border around your stone. Very gorgeous, very cool. Next one is MTP 1038 for a 15 by 20 millimeter cabochon. Retail price $38.75, and the wholesale price $23.24. And this has got just a very interesting kind of a solid border. The basket part is very open, so any weight that is added from the border on the outside sort of thing is kind of limited by the open frame in the background. Very gorgeous. Here's another one. This has a stone that fits, so I just popped that in there so you could see. MTP 1032 for a 12 by 16 millimeter cabochon. Retail price $29.30. Wholesale price $17.59. And I'm just a big fan of this, the scroll work, the kind of rococo border. It's got some, that millgrain. Oops, focus there. That kind of millgrain pattern around the outside. Just very cool frame. And here's one that I'm going to show you first without the stone, or maybe not. Yeah. MTP 1044 for a 26 by 32 millimeter stone. Retail price $31.80. Wholesale price is $19.08. And this, the bail is part of the whole thing. It's incorporated in there. We've got these two little scrolly ribbon things that hang down. There's got some flourish accents on the side and a kind of a leafy sort of prong on there. And the way this works is you put the stone in, right, and then you could push these things down onto the top of the stone to hold it in place, and those ribbons down onto the top of the stone. And that would probably be, just fine for most things. If you want, you can, put some epoxy around the back, to glue the frame to the back of the thing, right? But that's just very, very cool, right? Where it doesn't look like, and this is even, this fluorite that I have in here is kind of semi-transparent, and it's kind of cool that you can't see the, much of the frame behind it. I just kind of love, that's like a natural stone with some very cool accents. Yeah. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous setting. I love that one. Just because it's non-traditional. I'm kind of a fan of that sort of thing. Here's another MTP 1052 for a 20 millimeter round cabochon. Retail price is $31.80. Wholesale price is $19.08. And that's kind of a, similar spiritual cousin of this one, right? Kind of thing. There's another. There's a giant one. MTP 1047 for a 30 by 40 millimeter cab. Retail price $49.60, and the wholesale price is $29.76. And I think as far as cabs go, this 30 by 40 might be the biggest setting that we have. Just because I don't think we, yeah, I don't think we have anything bigger. Although we get lots of requests for that, and end up people usually end up just going custom. But this has some great, I don't know, fluted ovals around the outside. Very cool decoration. It's got that lovely filigree bail again on the top. Very simple, very elegant. Can't go wrong. Here's another kind of a spirally for a cabochon again. MTP 1050 for a 20mm round cab. The retail price is $35.56 and the wholesale price is $21.33. It's got another open sort of filigree-ish bail, right? With like spiral patterns around the outside of that with the dots. Very simple, very elegant. This again is one of my favorites. MTP 1041 for an 18 by 25mm cabochon. Retail price $43.68. Wholesale price $26.21. And I just love this kind of flaming scroll work around the outside edge. Very, I don't know what it evokes to me, but something kind of exotic. I don't know. Got a nice open back filigree bail. I just love that because it's sort of, traditional elements but non-traditional look for them. It's almost postmodern, if that's a thing. I know it's a thing. MTP 1042 for an 18 by 25mm cabochon. Retail price $37.12. Wholesale price $22.27. And again, just more classic scroll work, right? All those Rococo elements, almost filigree-ish in its look. Around that frame, around the border, nice big open back. Love it. And a lot of these are, spiritually, ancestors or connected or cousins, whatever. MTP 1051 for an 18mm round cabochon. Retail price is $30.95. Wholesale price is $18.58. And I know you're thinking, but Mark, I just saw that. No, it was close. It's for a bigger stone, 20mm stone. And, the only difference is the scroll work on this one has that kind of ropey effect. And these are just smooth. Lovely. Very gorgeous. Here's a nice wide frame, right, with all those lovely floral, elements all the way around it. God, that's gorgeous. MTP 1033 for a 12 by 16mm cabochon. Retail price is $35.09. Wholesale price is $21.05. And this is where you're entering the realm of, yeah, the cab is nice, but holy crap, look at that gorgeous pendant you got it in. It's just really, really cool. Is that gonna fit? That's not gonna fit. No, it's too big. Here's another MTP 1043 for a 14 by 20mm cabochon. Retail price $40.69. Wholesale price is $24.41. Lovely, sort of I don't know, almost spider webby, but not creepy spider webby looking. I don't know how to say it. It's just very cool. I love all that frame. Nice big open frame and a nice big open back on that one. Our next one is lovely stars border MTP 1045 for a 20 by 30 cab, and the retail price $43.04 and the wholesale price is $25.82. And again, yeah, it just has a lovely, stars all the way around, that border, and that lovely filigree-ish bail. Nice open back so that it's not super heavy. But again, just gorgeous piece for a 20 by 30 cab. Our next one, MTP 1035 for a 15 by 20 millimeter cabochon. Retail price $32.53, and the wholesale price is $19.51. And this just has, kind of triangles, alternating with dots or smooth. I have a stone on this. I'm trying to get this stone and everything. All right? I don't know if you can see, this is just a little bit too big for that, but you can see what that looks like with a stone in there, right? Just very gorgeous. And the last one on this tray, lovely, I don't know, Victorian sort of looking, with some flowers in the sides and the top, and that lovely ropey ribbon ovals all the way around, or teardrops all the way around the outside. MTP 1037 for a 14 by 20 millimeter cab. Retail price $30.69, and the wholesale price is $18.42. And does this fit? No, it's way too small. Never mind. Okay. My next tray. Oh, thanks, Mama. My next tray, I want to show you, because we have a row. I'm just going to pull one out here just to show you a row of these. They're very simple, very classic bezels, pendant, but the bezel are this, the kind of crown bezels. I don't know if you could see that. They're very cool. Most of them just have a simple loop and soldered bail on there, sort of thing. But when you see them with a stone in them, and this is the first one. Now I haven't set this, but if you push that down over onto the top of the stone, I mean, you can just imagine how cool that looks, right? Just gorgeous, very, very gorgeous. With the tips of the crown prongs, coming into the perimeter of the stone, so it'll look a little bit, points coming in from the outside edge. Anyway, this one, MTP 255B, like boy, for an 8 by 10 cabochon. Retail price is $10.88, and wholesale price is $7.25. Now, I did say cabochon, but I have set these. I have been at shows where somebody had a cut stone, where the pavilion and the edge geometry was pretty shallow, so it was able to extend past that inside piece, and it was able to push the bezel down over onto the crown a little bit, to get it to set, and it looks spectacular when you get a cut stone that works in there. But these are ostensibly designed for cabochons. Anyway, this next one, MTP 735 for a 9 by 11 millimeters. I should have put a stone here. I know I've got that size stone lying around. Retail price $12.23, and the wholesale price is $7.33. And here's another one. Wow, that's way more gorgeous on camera than that stone is in the real world. I promise it's not that beautiful green. No, never mind. I'm lying. It is. This is a beautiful imperial jade cabochon in MTP 734 for a 9 by 13 millimeter cabochon. Retail price is $13.30, and the wholesale price is $7.98. Again, does that green look like that on your screen? Does it look like a beautiful imperial jade on you? Because in the camera here it does, but in real life it's just a piece of aventurine. Which is not to say that aventurine is lesser stone. It's just not as gorgeous as it looks in the picture. But as long as it looks good, that's what matters for video, right? MTP 733 for an 11 by 15 millimeter cab. Retail price $14.21, and the wholesale price is $8.43. And then the next one up in this range, MTP 856 for a 13 by 17 millimeter stone, cabochon preferably. Retail price $14.47, wholesale price $9.05. And next one, MTP 734 for 18 by 24 millimeter cabs. Retail price $19.62, and the wholesale price $13.08. There's a little different one. Do I have you know what? I do have this a little bit different bezel wall. This kind of scrolly sort of thing. Look how gorgeous that is on that stone. If you push that over onto the stone, that'll set that in there. You don't need glue if it's a low enough dome cab. But anyway, this This is that same thing. It's just a little bit smaller one. MTP 228 for a 5x7 millimeter cabochon. Retail price is $6.31, and the wholesale price is $3.94. The next bigger up one, MTP 966 for a 12x16 millimeter cabochon. Retail price $12.43, and the wholesale price $7.77. So you know it's very lucky if you can get wholesale one of that with all those sevens. This is that one I showed you before with the cab in there, and that's kind of a boring cabochon to put in there. Sorry to put such a boring cab and such a beautiful pendant. MTP 981 for a 13x17 millimeter cabochon. Retail price $13.49, and the wholesale price is $8.44. And I don't know. There are no ugly stones. Our next one up here, we got a few prong settings, in the tray here now. MTP 533 for a 12x16 millimeter cab. Retail price $22.27, and the wholesale price $13.92. And this has just got I don't know, kind of interesting, outside border with a soldered loop and bail. It's got those giant prongs, which if you've got a super thick cabochon, you'd definitely be able to set that. If you've got a lower dome cab, but you still love this, it's very easy to snip those prongs down and dress the ends. And I'm going to make a video separately from this. It won't be a live stream, but it'll be something that we'll put on YouTube and on the website to show you the best way to do that. I think I'll do that over the Christmas break, because I think we need some good how-to videos. I think that'd be awesome. Here's a MTP 919 for a 10x16 millimeter pair. Retail price $15.46, and the wholesale price is $10.31. This has got a row of cubic zirconias around the bottom. It's very kind of a simple, frame with a, kind of a chevron in the top. It's got, I don't know if you could see that, it's got the double prongs in the top of that thing, right? That'll hold that. If it's a point or it's a little bit rounded, it holds them great. It's got the other prongs down on the bottom. It doesn't have a chevron in the top to hold the stone in. It just has that kind of a chevron design element on there. And I like these double prongs better than chevrons anyway. I just find them less, I don't know, less angsty. I always get a little bit nervous pushing the chevrons down onto stones. Maybe not a labradorite, but if it's a, I don't know, a little bit more brittle stone with a really pointy edge, sometimes I worry that I'm going to push too hard and crack it. MTP 602 for an 11x15 millimeter pear-shaped cabochon or cutstone. Both will fit in there. Retail price is $23.66, and the wholesale price is $16.90. And this has got that lovely kind of scrolly flourishes around the outside edge, and that lovely kind of ribbony flourish on the outside. Just very classic, very cute, very gorgeous. MTP 454 for a 9x12 millimeter pear-shaped stone. Retail price $26.30, and the wholesale price $17.54. And this has got a nice cubic zirconia in there. I don't know what that is, 3 or 4 millimeter cubic zirconia, and a row of CZs all the way around the outside. Just gorgeous. This has that. This does have a chevron in the top. I don't know if you could see that, right? And then the two prongs in the bottom. I don't want to dissuade you from trying to set these, because they work just fine. I just worry that if you push them the wrong way, if your pear or marquise sometimes also have those same chevrons, if the tip of the point is really super pointy, there's less and less, the more pointy it is, the less and less material there is there, and the easier it is to crack it. So just be careful. It should work, should be fine. And also, a lot of the times people are worried, but they're stones. Stone is pretty hard. You have to push really hard to break them. Well, I don't want to say that. I don't want to give people the wrong idea. MTP 996 for a 15 by 20 millimeter cabochon or cut stone. This is actually designed for a cut stone, but a cab would work in here. Retail price is $17.47, and the wholesale price is $10.92. And this just has these lovely, chevron, kind of prongs. These have some cubic zirconias in them. A row of, they all have 3 little cubic zirconias in there. Right? Just be mindful of when you're pushing these prongs in that you don't bend them too much, because the middle stone, if you bend it the wrong way, if you bend it too far down, they're going to be fine if you push them over onto the stone, but if you actually bend them, the stone could pop out. So, but it's just gorgeous when it's all set in there. I don't have a stone to fit in there, otherwise I would show you. MTP 514 for a 17 by 27 pair. That's pretty tall, thin pear shape. Retail price $24, and the wholesale price is $15. And that's like the most. I think it's the only pendant that has no cents. And they're all straight up dollars. This has got a lovely, flat border with that pierced kind of scroll wave. Sort of looks in the top of the bottom. It's got that double prong at the top. Or it's kind of a hybrid chevron / double prong, and the regular prongs in the bottom. Very easy to set, very gorgeous, very cool. I love that. Love that negative space look with that pierced border. MTP 265 for a 10 by 14 millimeter cushion cut rectangular stone ish. Retail price $17.23, and the wholesale price is 12 by 10. And the next 2 or 3 I'm going to show you are really, the stone either has to fit, dead in there, or these are really good if you're a lapidary and you're cutting your own stones. Very easy to shave the corners to make the corners, fit perfectly, because that's the problem with cushion cut stones, is that the corners, is very easy to say, 10 millimeters wide by 14 millimeters tall, but how are the corners? Are the corners very tight, or are they very loose corners? Like, these are pretty rounded corners, but the rounding of the corners could be real tight, could be real loose. So I guess it just depends on your stone. That's one of those things that, if you have a stone already and you're trying to buy a pendant for it, it's better to try it in the setting first. And if you can't, you could take a chance. MTP 722 for an 11 by 15 millimeter cushion cut stone, cabochon or cut stone. I'd put a cab in there, glue that in there. That's probably what it's ostensibly designed for. Yeah, very gorgeous. And again, it's very simple, just very classic, sort of big wide bezel, right? And the stone would only fit about halfway down and through there, and then you've got that in that back. Very cool. MTP 266 for 12 by 17 millimeter oval cabs. Retail price $22.70, and the wholesale price is $16.22. And this, you could see that inside lip there with the little indentations, the little pockmarks. That's telltale sign for this was designed to glue something in there. That's what that was for. Right. It's got that lovely rounded, basket on the outside. And the last one of this kind of thing, of this glue-in bezels, great big bold bezels, MTP 267 for a 12 by 19 millimeter cabochon. Retail price $30.64. Wholesale price $21.85. This guy, again, nice big bold border around it. Very lovely. Got a couple of little tiny stone pendants here. This one is leaping dolphins playing with your stone in between them. Right, I put a little amethyst stone in there. I don't know if you can see that. MTP 878 for a 3 millimeter stone. Retail price is $13.90 and wholesale price is $9.27. And I know that a lot of times people think, but 3mm stones, you're not even going to see it. But I mean, you could totally see that stone in there. It's just the way it's designed. Here's one for 3.5mm stone, and I also had a stone that I put in that one. Right, this is two just large, swipes. Stripes. The bail is incorporated into one of them with the stone set in between. Hi, Tammy. Tammy's watching. Tammy Mullen. Yay! Merry Christmas to you too. MTP 877 again for a 3.5mm stone. Retail price is $12.82 and the wholesale price is $8.55. Right? Just wanted you to show you that with the stone in there. Very cool. Because sometimes it's hard, to visualize what it would look like, without the stone. It's just not as cool, to try to visualize what it looks like without the stone. To finish off this particular tray, we've got a couple of people who make a commemorative, what is it? Memorial jewelry, cremation memorial jewelry, or we have quite a few customers now who are making breast milk jewelry. Okay, and those I think they just have molds that they mix resin and the breast milk in, and they make a cabochon, and then they just set it. Or you could just pour the resin or thing right directly in here, or you can cut a cab for a 10 by 16mm cabochon, MTP 197, with a retail price of $12.49 and the wholesale price of $7.80. And it's just very simple, very basic cabochon, almost like a not almost like it's it's absolutely a cup. Bezel cup sort of thing, just a giant one. And I kind of like the idea of just pouring resin in there. I don't know why, but it kind of intrigues me, the whole process. Tammy, I said process. I'm fully Canadianized now, or I'm back home. I know after 24 years living in the US, I was saying process. Anyway, MTP 246 for a 22 by 33mm cabochon or cut stone or resin. You could even, well, never mind. Retail price $50.75 and the wholesale price of $31.72. And this just has a loop. There's no bail, so you got to buy a bail to put that on there, sort of thing. And then the last one, another just giant bezel cup, plain bezel cup, nice smooth plain back, right? Oh, mirror. Oh, hi, the camera. MTP 196 for a 24 by 42mm cabochon. Retail price $41.35. Wholesale price is what? Oh, yes. Very cool, eh? Wholesale price $24.54. And that is the last one of that tray. Oh, thanks, Marvel. Okay. Last tray for the day. I think we're getting close to an hour. We're going to go over today, but that's okay. And another one. I just love this. I don't know, that scrolly things. A lot of the jewelry that I fabricated over the years has that I don't know, that motif in there, just waves and scrolly things. Sometimes they look like tentacles, but sometimes they look like waves. Got that lovely filigree bail at the top. MTP 1026 for a 22 by 31mm pear-shaped cabochon. It's got that beautiful bezel wall. And again, this bezel wall is probably thin enough that you could push over, but I don't recommend it because it'd be real hard to do it without blemishing that bezel wall. Ideally, just get, cut your cab to fit perfectly and then glue it in there. I know, I said the G word. Not glue, two-part epoxy, right? No 527 or those craft glues. Those are great for sticking your doll's heads or chenille stems together, but if you want real you want it to last, you need a good two-part epoxy. Retail price $50.53 and the wholesale price $30.32, and that is just gorgeous. I don't know, I love it. This is another one of those look at my stone instead of look at the pendant kind of thing. Here's another one of those very simple frame, and this stone is just about a ½ millimeter smaller than the setting for, but I put it in there anyway because I wanted you to see that, with the stone in the setting. MTP 522 for a 14 by 19 millimeter stone. Retail price $21.88, and the wholesale price is $13.68. These have prongs. It's got just a simple, seat, right? And again, the stone is just a little hair smaller than the seat because you still see some of the bezel around the outside. But I just love that. Just very simple. Cute. Tells a story. The bird sitting around the outside of that on a branch. Following that thing. Can't go wrong. It's a storybook pendant. Here's another very plain, very simple, kind of nice, bold bezel border. This one is a soldered bail. The bail is soldered to the piece. It's incorporated into it. MTP 277 for a 23 millimeter round cabochon. Retail price $17.11 and the wholesale price $11.34. MTP 237 13 by 17 cabochon. I'd put a cab in there. I wouldn't put a cut stone in there. Well, maybe you could put a cut stone in there if the edge geometry worked out, because these little fleur-de-lis around the outside, those are the prongs. I don't know if you can see those, if I can get those to focus. Right, they're cute little fleur-de-lis that they would just push over onto the stone. And make cute little things. Retail price $14.78, wholesale price $9.24. Again, for 13 by 17 millimeter cabs or maybe cut stones. Here's MTP 933 for 18 by 26 millimeter oval cab or cut stone. If you could find one that fits that's that big without a giant pavilion in there. $28.08 is the retail price, and was that 18? No. Yeah, $18.72 is the wholesale price. And this just has that lovely kind of Rococo scroll work all the way around, right? The hearts at the meridian points. Oh, they're all the way through there. And it's got this lovely, filigree sort of bail with a row of cubic zirconia in the top of that. Just very elegant, very classic. And the spiritual opposite of our next pendant, MTP 921 for a 5 by 7 millimeter cabochon. It'd have to be a cab in there. Retail price $24.39 and the wholesale price is $16.26. And that's just a pot leaf, a giant marijuana leaf. MTP 1027 for a 15 by 20 millimeter cabochon. Retail price $25.36 and the wholesale price $15.21. Got a lovely solid border, right? That's not an open border, that's solid. With that that kind of ropey scroll work all the way around. Got a cute little filigree, kind of more piercing than filigree bail. Our next pendant is MTP 108 for a 7 by 8 millimeter oval cabochon or cut stone. Retail price $13.18, wholesale price $9.23. Now I put a 6 by 8 cab in here, and you can see that the edges around the outside, right? So 6 by 8, you'll find way more of them, and I just wanted to show you that it would fit there. But if that little bit of a border of the seat that's visible on the sides, if that really bugs you, then it won't work. You need a 7 by 8. But this is a 6 by 8 stone in there. I mind it. It really bugs me, but I do know quite a few people who, they don't even see it. It's like, well, it's just part of the thing, it's a thing, so whatever. This is just a lovely thing with a kind of a diamond and a chevron in the top, and the sort of inverted teardrop border frame around that. These are for my friend Tammy Mullins. The next few pendants are all Canadian pendants. Um, well, they're Maple Leafs. Maple Leaf is universal. They make maple syrup everywhere. Go to Vermont. You'll see tons of maple trees. MTP 1025 for a 4 millimeter cut stone, and or actually, it probably designed for a cabochon because of that good, nice length prongs there. But I put a cut stone in there just because I'm cheeky like that. Retail price $12.53, and the wholesale price is $7.51. And again, just a maple leaf with a place in the middle for a stone. And our next maple leaf is MTP 368 for a 10 millimeter cabochon. Retail price $12.93 and wholesale price is $13.08. And this just has a bail or a bezel thing around the outside. This is not quite 10 millimeters, right? But I think if you centered that with some glue, it would work. This you probably can't tell because it looks terrible in the camera, but this is just a rose quartz stone in there. I've got that lovely maple leaf, open maple leaf with the bail right at the top in the middle. This one is a little bit different. The bail is hanging from a loop in the center, so it hangs kind of off center. MTP 369 for an 8 millimeter cabochon. Retail price $19.93 and the wholesale price $12.45. And I put a little tiger's eye cab in there that we had lying around. Very cute. This one, MTP 281 for a 10 by 17 millimeter rectangular stone. Retail price $21.22 and the wholesale price $14.92. Now this is one of those lapidary specials, right? Because ideally you want to have those beveled edges at just the right angle. So this is one of those things where if you're a lapidary and you like it, you buy the setting and then you got the stone to fit it. The stone is meant to be glued in there, kind of thing. Actually, you probably could just put a regular old square cushion cut stone or a square or pillow cut, right? Either will work. Speaking of rectangles, we've got a couple of tall, and I don't have any stones to fit in there, but they look way cooler with stones in them. MTP 997 for a 10 by 25 millimeter rectangular cabochon. Retail price $12.66 and the wholesale price is $7.92. This has a little cubic zirconia in the top and that lovely kind of like inverted heart thing with another cubic zirconia in the bail. And these have the double prongs, right, for your cabs. So if you have cabs with very pointy corners or rounded corners, either will work beautifully in this pendant. As long as the outside diameter of 10 by 25 millimeter are met. MTP 1000 for a 12 by 28 millimeter rectangle. Retail price $20.54 and the wholesale price is $12.84. And this is again just a little bit different. It's got that I don't know, Art Deco kind of frame with just a row of cubic zirconias around both sides. It's got the double prongs again for cabs or cut stones. This one is actually, these prongs are kind of a, I don't know if I can get in there. I pull those open, maybe not. It's kind of a hybrid chevron and double prong because the prongs are split at the top, but not all the way down to the bottom, sort of thing. So very cool kind of hybrid prong setting there. MTP 998 for a 10 by 25 millimeter rectangular stone. Retail price $16.50 and the wholesale price $10.31. And I just love this outside, borders, a little triangle of cubic zirconias down at the bottom and the top. Again, this has those double prongs, and these double prongs are cut all the way down to the bottom. So even the very pointiest stones or kind of rounded corners will fit in there. And I just love that, that geometric sort of flavor that has. Our next one, MTP 999 for a 10 by 25 millimeter rectangular cabochon. Retail price $18.34 and the wholesale price $11.47. Kind of a classic border. It's got some cubic zirconias around inside, the meridians there at the top and the bottom. In the kind of the regular split rabbit. Oh, sorry, focus. Like kind of that rabbit ear, that split bail with cubic zirconias up around both sides, and the double prongs. They go all the way down to the bottom. Very gorgeous. Our next one is for Marquise stone. I thought I had one that fit, but I couldn't find it. MTP 719 for a 10 by 19 millimeter Marquise shaped stone. You could put it in the seat, because you see that bevel in there in the edge of the seat. So ostensibly it's designed for cut stone, but if it's not a super thick cab, I would put a cab in there too. No question. Either will work. I think it'd be gorgeous though with a cut stone in there, with all those rows of cubic zirconias all the way around there. It's got that nice deep basket, so even if you have like a super deep pavilion, would work in that. MTP 719, I said that. Retail price $51.53 and the wholesale price $32.21. That's kind of a classic thing. Here's the polar opposite of that previous one with all the bling on there. This is just a very simple, bezel wall. MTP 670 for a 23 by 40 millimeter pair. Retail price is $33.16 and the wholesale price is $19.89. And again, this is one of those. Look at my stone. It just happens to be hanging out there on a pendant, but don't pay too much attention to the pendant. Look at my gorgeous stone. Here's another kind of a for cabochon. Obviously, it's got some cubic zirconias in the bail and that lovely scroll work around the outside, around the frame. Nice big open frame. MTP 956 for a 20 by 24 millimeter cabochon, where retail price $42.71 and the wholesale price $28.47. Just like that kind of what is that? Hexagonal, stretched hexagonal shape. Conflicting geometries always kind of amuse me, in jewelry, and having the round cab in that, hexagonal sort of frame, I like it. MTP 934 for a 26 by 36 millimeter cab. Retail price $46.80. Wholesale price $29.25, and this is a solid frame, right, with all that lovely scroll work and dots and lines. And it's got some good sized prongs in there, so if you've got a super thick cab, it might work. I would also probably, because there's no besides the seat at the very top, which is flat, so it's again ostensibly designed for a cabochon. I wouldn't think it's out of place to put a cut stone in there. The back is pretty flat. The pendant is pretty flat, so there's no basket. So you'd have to beware that the culet on the bottom of the pavilion doesn't rub against your chest and scratch you or anything. But all that being said, I would definitely do that. What would look good in here is one of those faceted cabs. Oh, God, gorgeous. Anyway, neither here nor there. Now, this next one, MTP 578 for a 25 millimeter round cabochon. Wholesale price $28.52, and the retail price is $17.82. And this has got a lovely open bail, right? And there's a little star with some cubic zirconias in there. It's got a wide frame with some kind of swoopy sort of looking, effects with some cubic zirconias, around the outside. And this doesn't exactly fit. It's about a 0.5 millimeter too small, but so it's not going to stay in there. But just look how gorgeous that is, right? With a stone in it. Boy, I just love how a lot of these settings look, kind of cool, just on their own. But then when you put the stone in them, they just, totally pop. except for if the stone is very boring, like this rose quartz. MTP 891 for a 10 by 14 millimeter cabochon or cut stone. You can put a cut stone in there. I think the seat is not right. That's a cabochon seat, but you could put a cut stone in there. 1931 is a retail price. 1287 is a wholesale price, and this just has these kind of semicircles right around the outside, alternating with cubic zirconias or not. Lovely, just a gorgeous bale. And the last pendant I'm going to show you today. Oh, I just love this. MTP 1123 for a 14 by 18 millimeter cabochon or cut stone. I put a cut stone in there just to show you that. Retail price $36.61 and the wholesale price of $22.88. And this, can I pull that out of there? Yeah. Obviously I didn't set it in there, just gonna put it in there. Just has that lovely scroll work all the way around. Cubic zirconias in there. Cubic zirconias in the bale. It's got that lovely kind of meridian looking compass in the bale. Just gorgeous, and you can't go wrong with a stone in it. I have that in there straight. I don't know why green stones look so much better on this camera than they do in real life, because this is kind of a very boring piece of fluorite. But golly, look at how gorgeous that is with that in there. It looks like it just looks very cool. So you should buy this pendant. This is the last pendant that we have for today, and I know I went over a little bit. I was only supposed to be an hour, and I went like 10 minutes over. Yeah. So 10 minutes over is not bad. I managed to keep it under an hour last week. Thank you so much for joining us today. Again, we'll be here next week, but then the 2 weeks after that we won't be. But you'll see us here next week at 10:30 a.m. Pacific time, extrapolated out to wherever you are. Again, you're always welcome to call us on the phone, or if you message us through Facebook here. Lots of people have. You can reach out on the website. We've got that little chat box, which one of us are always monitoring that. So usually one of us are always monitoring, unless all of us are sleeping. Then at that point, nobody's going to answer your chat. But we'll email you back. Again, email, phone, call, just get a hold of us. And don't feel like you have to limit your questions to things that have to do specifically with our pendants or stock or thing. I want you to think of us as a resource to help you develop your metal smithing skills, your stone setting skills, your jewelry making, because jewelry making is one of those I've always found it to be one of those crafts where people don't really believe how easy it is until they start doing it, and then they realize how little they know, and then they realize, oh yeah, it is, super involved. Not difficult, but there's a lot of stuff that you can do, a lot of stuff you can learn, baby steps. It's one of those things, you have to not worry. Was somebody asking? Carol, what is that last number again? MTP 1123. I know you can't see it, right? MTP 1123. You can. Was it right? Is that? Yeah. There it is. That one. MTP 1123. Good call, Carol. That's a gorgeous pendant. Anyway, enough jibber jabber. Thanks for joining us. Take care of yourself. Take care of the planet. Take care of your mental health. Stay creative. Keep making stuff. The best way to get through this ennui of if you're under quarantine or if you're just stuck at home is to just make stuff. Keep those creative juices flowing. If you get stuck in a rut, just make something that you've already made before, and that'll get those juices flowing again. You can start extrapolating from those things, and buy lots of pendants. Having said that, again, thanks for joining us. We will see you next week. My name is Mark. I'm always here. We're always here for you. Thanks very much. Have a good day, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Okay.